Everyone's tired. It's early in the morning. Early in the morning. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Is there a time of day you don't sing?
No.
Okay.
It's impossible to give you an answer to that question because there is no answer. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
And welcome to our very early morning recording. You wouldn't know it, but we're recording early on a Saturday morning here today because Rob is going on a vacation next week.
Oh, hey, aren't you going on vacation next week too?
I am. How? Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
At the same time.
At the same time.
You know who's not going on vacation?
You aren't.
Me.
Yeah, you're not. Well, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Are you though? No.
I'm sorry.
At least Rob owns it. He's not sorry. Not even remotely.
That's a good point. But Rob has no sympathy.
Or soul.
Or soul. That's true.
Aw, you guys are so nice.
Yeah, see, we know you. We know you. We know how to really make you feel loved. We just reference the fact that you're unlovable.
Aw.
And that's how you feel loved.
You know, you guys. Stop. Just stop.
Oh. Anyways, welcome to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We are a podcast focused on pop culture stuff. We are a big pop culture podcast, so we like to talk about movies, TV shows, video games, movies.
Massive.
All kind of music is a big thing we like to talk about. We like to do all that. But right now, also, we are focusing on a review of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So today we have 2 episodes to review with you today. The Last Outpost and Where No One Has Gone Before. So we get to review the first appearance of Armin Shimmerman in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week, we get to review the first appearance of...
Mark
Alamo in Star Trek. So we get to talk about those. As you know, though, we normally wait until about the second half of the show, which is about a half hour in, to start our review of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So you can find out in the second half of the show if we feel like the show is starting to get better yet, or if it's still struggling to find its footing. Gee, I wonder what we're going to say.
Oscar. Wait.
Tune in to find out.
Emmy worthy.
Emmy worthy. I love it. So we're like we said, we'll get there in the second half. But right now is the time where we catch up on pop culture news and what's going on in the world. So, Rob, why don't you start us off today?
I had a question for you guys. So there's a show on HBO, or I guess it's just called Max now, called Flight Attendant.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been on my list of things to watch.
Yeah, Kaylee Coco.
Yep. And I hear it's pretty good, but it got canceled.
After 2 seasons?
I think it's only 1.
I think it got 2.
We got 2?
Was that originally a Max
yes.
production, or was it on... Okay.
It was always a Max one.
Yeah.
It was HBO one, yes.
So I was just wondering if either of you guys watched it.
So, I did watch a couple episodes when it first aired.
Because it's a few years old. It's not... Yeah.
Yes. I did watch a few episodes when it first aired. I did not think it was bad. I did not think it was good as people made it out to be either. It was kind of a weird show that it was meant to be seen as a drama, but there was comedic elements in there, but they felt super out of place in the way it was cast as a drama. So, yeah.
This is actually a show that I've seen a little bit of.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay. You've seen it too. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What do you think?
When I was married, my ex watched a lot of random television, so I've been like a lot of random TV shows have been in my peripheral, and this was one of them. And it wasn't. I agree with Nick. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't captivating in the least.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't do anything exceptionally well, but it didn't do anything poorly.
And I feel like it won some awards, didn't it? Or it was like it was up for I don't know.
Was it?
Well, it holds on Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a 97% approval rating, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
But the average rating is 7.4 out of 10. So it's like we think it's worth watching, but it's not great. So that's kind of what the rating says to me.
Well, you kind of answered my question. My question was going to be, I'm wondering if I should watch it because I was curious about it. But I also hate investing in a show where all of a sudden it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it has a finite end.
I think it's worth giving a little bit of time. I think it's. I don't think you'll feel any guilt if you don't finish it. If you feel like this isn't for me, and you just don't finish the show.
Right.
I don't think you'll be like, oh, I don't think you'll feel like you wasted your time on either end.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it did have a pretty definitive end. Like it didn't end in a cliffhanger from what I've heard. So at least it concludes the story.
That's good.
So the plane hit the cliff.
Something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Who knows? So
Do you guys find Kaylee Cuoco to be either A good or bad actor, or B, attractive?
I've only seen her in Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
So she was good in that. That's all I can tell you, though. I can't tell you more than as an actress more than that.
I don't really find
Did you
her
ever-
a good actress.
Mm-mm.
She's there. There's nothing that she does that I don't feel like she plays a different character in anything she does. She's Kaylee Cuoco in everything she does.
But Sean Penn gets credit for that.
I'm not
So
saying
is George
I'm not
Clooney.
saying I like those people. I don't really care for them.
They don't change at all.
No,
Ever.
they don't. They don't.
Mm-mm.
They don't. George Clooney though doesn't have to because he's attractive. Sean Penn, I don't know what his excuse is. Because he's.
I'm George Clooney. My head's
I
tilted.
want to put a pin
I
in
was
that.
wondering what you were doing. I'm like, is Rob having a stroke over here?
Put a pin in that. I want to put a pin in that and finish my thoughts on
Yeah.
Kaylee Cuoco. I don't find her to be an exceptional actor. I do find her to be like just the same role over and over in different settings.
Gotcha.
I don't know that I find her all that attractive either.
As an unattractive man.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't say me.
no, me.
I'm not speaking for you.
No, yeah, I am.
I sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now pulling the pin out and going back, I don't find George Clooney that attractive.
Well,
Sometimes I do.
Younger George Clooney, I could see because he just had a look to him that was attractive at the time.
yeah.
As he's aged, it's like I don't.
I don't know. There was like the era where he was doing like Peacemaker. I think was the name of the show or the movie. I could see it, but I more found him.
He's too pompous.
That's what the word I was looking for. Thank you. I was trying to think of it, but yeah, I found him too arrogant.
Yeah,
You know what's interesting about George Clooney to me is he's not someone who has if you look at his filmography, it's not like he's this incredible actor, right?
He's not.
He's the same guy in everything.
No, he has really good movies. There's some good movies in there, right?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
But there's a lot
Excellent.
more stinkers than there are good movies. So, like he's one of, like you look at Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, you're hard pressed to find 2 or 3 films that are really bad that he
and he's
did,
got range.
right. George Clooney, man, it's easy for me to point out all the bad movies he's made. Like there's
Let's go through his
ton of-
discography or filmography.
All right, here we go. George Clooney filmography. Here we go. Should we just do films?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because it's ER.
it's ER, and
So we'll go
like
with his first.
an 80s show.
We'll go with his first hit.
he was also Roseanne's boss.
Yes, he was.
Wasn't he on like Growing Pains, something in that area?
He might have been. All right, so 96 was From Dusk Till Dawn and One Fine Day, which
Hold on.
is
Stop it From Dusk Till Dawn. It doesn't get better than that.
That's a 10 out of 10 film.
Yep.
you
in
only
every
think
aspect.
it is because of
And
the.
if you want to go letters, that's a
It's a fantastic movie. It's very entertaining.
Okay,
And
Yes.
when I went, the one thing I love about that movie, and I'm interrupting you, Nick, I apologize.
that's okay.
I went into it, I didn't actually know what it was about. And so I'm watching this movie, and then all of a sudden it flips into something completely different.
Oh, yeah.
I was mind effed in that moment.
Yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does for sure.
that launched my eternal love for Salma Hayek.
I'm sure it did.
Holy smokes! That gets a 10 out of 10 and a D out of D.
Was that where your foot thing came from too?
Yeah.
All right.
Every fetish I have.
Can we move on from Salma
I was
Hayek?
born
please?
from
We
Dusk
should
Till
do a
Dawn.
Patreon with Joe's fetish.
97, he did Batman and Robin and The Peacemaker.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Peacemaker wasn't
98,
bad.
Thin Red Line, Out of Sight,
No, so it's not bad.
Waiting for Woody, it's nothing. 99, Three Kings, which was
I kind of enjoyed Three Kings.
it wasn't really reviewed well. And South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yeah, he just played the dog.
Dr. Horatio Gauch. Dr. Horatio Gauch. 2000, The Perfect Storm, not really great, but Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Really good.
Yeah.
No,
I thought those movies. I thought the movies are overrated.
Completely overrated.
Wow. Okay. Ocean's 11 and 01 and Spy Kids.
They're okay.
2000,
I like Spy Kids. The first Spy Kids.
2002, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Solaris, Welcome to Collinwood. All three not good movies. Solaris should have been good, but it wasn't. 2003, Intolerable Cruelty with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Not a bad movie. Not great, but not bad.
2004, Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
2005, Good Night and Good Luck and Syriana. 2006, The Good German. 2007, Michael Clayton, Ocean's 13, Sand and Sorrow, Darfur Now. Oh, that's not, 2008, Leatherheads, Burn After Reading. 2009, The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Burn After Reading was pretty good.
Up in the Air. Up in the Air was good. I like that one. 2010, The American. 2011, The Ides of March, The Descendants. 2013, Gravity. 2014,
Descendants was not bad.
The Monument Men, Annie, Tomorrowland, Hail Caesar, Money Monster, The Midnight Sky, Ticket to Paradise, The Flash, and The Flash. So it's
again. It ended with From Dusk Till Dawn.
I feel like for every good movie he makes two bad ones.
At least.
Yeah.
I think it's
at least.
I think it's closer to 20%.
I think
like 1 in 5.
I don't know.
I go with Joe. 1 in 5, 1 in 4.
Yeah.
I mean that end run that you just rambled through very quickly was stinker after stinker.
Yeah, Hail Caesar,
Hot garbage.
Money Monster, The Midnight Sky.
I would say
Actually, I like The Midnight Sky. Did you watch that one? It was on. I think it was on Netflix. It was really good. It's one where he's a pilot he's an academic guy who lives on Earth. He's trying to find a habitable planet because Earth is no longer habitable. Habitable? No, I said that right.
Habitable.
Habitable. Habitable. They sound right in my head as I'm saying them, and then I hear them out loud, and I'm like, what did you just say?
Nick, I love you.
Habitable.
Never change, my friend.
I love you so
Never
much.
change.
Uh,
I would say his filmography, I would say it's spotty at best.
I would say it started and ended with From Dusk Till Dawn.
I mean, I think that's probably his best movie.
Out of that list, yeah. But people like the more... People might look down at us because it's not a cerebral or some kind of or Oscar-worthy or some kind of...
That's
fantastic...
Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. That is hot.
I obviously agree with you.
That is a young Tarantino and a young Rodriguez at their creative peak. I mean, it's not cerebral, but it's excellent filmmaking,
and it's fun but good.
So there's that with George Clooney.
And I never saw that twist coming when I was watching the beginning of that movie.
No,
I was flabbergasted when they turned into vampires.
Yeah,
it blew like that is. I was like, "What the hell just happened?"
But
I
that's
had
why
no idea.
That's why I like it as like, it's like the first half is a Tarantino film, and then Rodriguez like, I'll take it from here.
Yeah, I got you.
I got it from here,
and it got zany.
Yeah,
and not in a bad way, but it was definitely zany.
What is it? Yeah, I don't like the word zany because zany has a flippant connotation to it where there's like no thought and it's just like I don't know. It seems like it doesn't have any depth to it.
Okay.
I thought it just got different.
Yeah, it was an adventure.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
George Clooney sucks.
I like it.
I think he's overrated.
Approved.
I think he's overrated, but I don't think he's.
I think he's incredibly overrated and sucks.
Wow.
After From Dusk Till Dawn.
Wow. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about, Daredevil. There's some Daredevil news with Born Again that originally they were completely starting from scratch. They were eliminating, and we talked about this a little bit last week. Last week they were going to get rid of all the backstory and basically just relaunch with Daredevil and then with Kingpin, right? Then news came out a week ago or a couple weeks ago that they were bringing back Foggy and Karen Page. And now they've basically went and made all of the Netflix Marvel series are now canon in the universe. So they are picking up from where Daredevil left off in the Netflix series now.
I can appreciate that because those shows were really well received.
Which I bet you was the reshoots that they did because they did a bunch of reshoots. And now I'm betting you that's what it was. They decided to go from it not being canon to canon.
I still have to finish Punisher.
Really? You
Yeah.
never finished Punisher?
I got to finish the last season.
It was really good. I love Punisher.
Yeah, me too.
It was so good.
It was dark and relentless, and I loved it.
Now, here's my thing. I don't know how much I care because I think I'm completely checked out of the Marvelverse. I haven't watched a recent Marvel show or movie.
I keep on hearing Echo's pretty good, so I'm going to give that a
I
chance.
have not heard that, man. I've not heard that. I've heard the exact opposite.
What are your sources?
My sources.
Is it your son?
No, he hasn't watched it either. I don't know if he's interested in it, and that's kind of how I gauge things now too. Is like, is my kid interested in it? That tells me something about where Marvel's at, and he's not.
I don't know how much, because it's more of the serious Marvel universe. I don't know how much kids enjoy that.
We watched all of Netflix or
Did you?
Daredevil together. Yeah.
That's because you're a terrible dad.
Oh yeah.
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 This is well established.
I got it.
Yeah, I'm a terrible father. But we watched all of Daredevil together, and he liked it a lot.
Oh, good.
We didn't watch the Punisher or the Defenders
Or Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Yeah, Jessica.
I hope not.
Jessica Jones is a little dark, so we didn't watch that. But I don't know. I'm glad to see that they're not ignoring that at the very least.
Right.
I think it's a little too late, but we'll see. I don't know.
How much juice does this have left?
None.
I'm wondering how much
That
juice is left in this orange.
That orange
this
has
comic book
been-
movie
yeah.
orange.
I
Yeah.
think I'm nervous for it because I think that there might be some good movies that come out where it will just get looked over because of burnout or stereotyping. Like, let's say Superman Legacy comes out and it's phenomenal. I don't think it will be as highly watched or highly as appreciated as, let's say, I don't know, what's a good Marvel movie like Captain America: Civil War?
Yeah, any of the Iron Men.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think it's going to have that same chance because I do think there's a little bit of burnout. I don't think you can make the perfect movie. I actually think Batman 2 is going to suffer the same thing.
See, I don't. I think it's immune
Oh.
for the basis of it's in its own universe. It's not connected to anything else. They're standalone films. Same thing with Joker 2. We've discussed this. I think those types of movies are more insulated to the hype / burnout that the other integrated into like a universe comic book films.
I hope so.
I
Just like I hope they're good, but I hope so.
What I worry about is the inevitable crash of comic book films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what's left for studios and filmmakers and
Oh yeah.
That's really as poorly as comic book movies are doing now in comparison to 5 years ago or however many years ago. They still pull most of the weight of the film industry.
Yeah, they carry movie theaters.
They carry theaters. They carry the box office. Like, they carry things.
Well, let's see. Let me look at the box office for 2024 so far, and you're not exactly wrong. So so this is for 2024. Right now you have Wonka.
it's only
2024.
It's only been like 19 days in 2024.
Let's
right?
do 23.
Okay, 23.
That'll give us the
the
last
number one
full,
movie
okay.
for 20 Barbie.
Barbie.
Super Mario Brothers movie, Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy, Oppenheimer, Little Mermaid, Avatar, Ant-Man, John Wick, Sound of Freedom, Taylor Swift, Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible, The Hunger Games, Transformers, Creed 3, Elemental. So, of those, there was only a couple comic book movies, all sequels. Don't get me wrong. Like, nothing original minus Barbie, Oppenheimer, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, and nothing original. It sounds weird to say that, but I mean, it's true.
I mean, I've harped on the originality point many times over the course of this podcast, but
yeah,
at this point, what is original material? Like, because I've thought about this, and I'm like, am I too? Because we've gone over it, and you guys have pointed out certain things that, like, at least movies that are looked at as original, which aren't like comic book movies.
Yeah.
Like Super Mario Brothers. Is that an original movie?
Mm,
It's an original story, but it's based on a property. Like all these.
right.
Okay, Oppenheimer. Is that an original movie?
There's been movies about him before.
Right, and
Yeah.
it pulls from reality, or it pulls from
Yeah.
a historical figure. So I don't know.
I think people want something they recognize, and they want something that is a surefire bet in their mind. Like,
Right.
what was it? The one about the train 2 years ago.
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train.
Yeah.
Phenomenal movie,
That was a very good movie.
and it tanked. It didn't do well at all. But people wouldn't give it a chance because it wasn't something they recognized.
That was an original movie.
Yes, it was,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a blast.
It was a blast.
Yep.
That movie would have. You know what? That movie would have absolutely smoked in the 90s.
90s and the 2000s, like the double O's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely would.
and maybe even a little bit of the teens. Right
would have done gangbusters
Yeah.
at the film.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
I think people they want something that's a surefire bet in their head, something they recognize, and that gives them a opportunity to already kind of go in that movie going, this should be good.
Yeah.
I just like if a movie like The Rock would never survive now because it's not something somebody recognizes, or what's
If they made The Rock now, it would have to star The Rock
yeah
and be about The Rock.
yeah. Actually, if it starred The Rock, it somehow would be about The Rock
Oh yeah.
in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope they do not reboot The Rock or remake The Rock.
Like
the
the Rock the movie or The Rock the character.
If they could reboot The Rock the actor, that's fine.
Remember when you were on the Rock train?
I've hopped on and off the train.
A couple times. It's like Gold Ducat. It's
I'm currently off the Rock train.
So if they made a DS9 movie and they cast the Rock as Gold Ducat,
I don't think I could mentally handle that. Emotionally, I don't think I could survive that roller coaster.
that'd be great.
that's a trip.
But of course, his agent would be like, "Yeah, we'll do it."
Yes, we will. Wait, he's got to wear makeup? I don't know about that.
Goodness gracious.
The later season's Gold Ducat, where he looks like a Bajordan.
Yeah.
I tried.
Here's something I want to share with you.
No.
It's related to Star Trek Beyond, actually. I don't know if you saw this. Justin Lin, who is the director of Star Trek Beyond, he came out and called Star Trek Beyond the toughest thing he's ever had to do. And when you hear his reasoning why...
Privileged life.
No, well, yeah.
I know.
So here's his quote. I'm shooting True Detective in Ventura. Great first season. And the recent season is really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Alaska season with
should-
Jodie Foster. Yeah.
You should have covered that on the show, and maybe I would have known that earlier.
Sorry.
True Detective. Write it down.
True Detective in Ventura, and it's on Thursday. I get a call from J.J. Abrams, and he's like, hey, man, just curious, do you like Star Trek? And he said, I grew up watching it with my dad. It has so much meaning. Abrams said, would you happen to have an idea for a Star Trek movie? And I said, aren't you in pre-production? And he said, no, we shut down. He said, if you have an idea, would you want to come by the office on Monday? So on Monday, I sat down with JJ and shared with him the idea of Star Trek Beyond. He's like, great. And this is the end of January. He said, let's do it, but we have to start production in June. No script, nothing. It was tough. The toughest thing I've ever had to do. So, yeah. This is a trip. And then he wrote it, obviously, with Simon Pegg and Doug Jung. They wrote the script for it. But he's like, it was hard because Star Trek is not like Fast and the Furious. Every idea you come up with is a new build, and we had no time. So they said he didn't know if they'd make it out of that first week of writing the script because of everything going on.
They pulled it off as mostly a pretty enjoyable movie.
I thought it was the second best of the three relaunches.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Better than Star Trek Into Darkness. Better than some of the original properties. Better than Star Trek 5.
And one.
Better than Star Trek 1.
Don't even say anymore. Just end there. Save yourself. Better than Insurrection.
Better than Insurrection.
I wouldn't know.
Better than Generations.
We'll get there. No. Disagree.
Better than the
Nemesis?
Search for Spock.
No. Search for Spock was great.
I like Search for Spock.
Thank you.
It's good, but I think it's better than. It's not saying it's bad.
No.
You people like in your
No,
absolutes. No,
Because everything
no.
I've heard was the odd numbers are terrible and the even numbers
Yeah,
are
people
good.
trash
and that's
3.
That's just not true. 3 is very good.
Okay, but I didn't say it was bad. You dumb face.
Wow. Language.
Yeah,
Language.
I'm sorry.
Can you cut
I'm
that
sorry.
out for a drop?
Joe, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got
wow.
pretty heated. I'm sorry.
Dumb face.
I apologize. I apologize.
Heard.
Your face isn't dumb.
But it is, and I'm not very smart. So how dare
you?
How dare you?
you hit off my insecurities, you jerk, you dumb face.
Wow.
Wow. Doubling down
Wow.
So,
Double D.
from dust till
kind of funny. It kind of speaks to how J.J. Abrams is. Like, hey, we have nothing right now. Will you make something and then film it in 6 months? Like,
Hey, sounds like the middle seasons of Lost.
sounds
Yeah.
like Lost. Sounds like what they did with Star Wars, and they did it with Star Trek too. It just reminds you that
Who did he call in like 2007 or 8 when in the middle seasons of Lost?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Hey, I got this show that's doing excellent. It's literally changing television, but I got nothing.
Can you make
kind
it
of wrote
suck?
myself into a hole.
Yeah,
Can you make it suck for me?
I've written myself into several corners.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a smoke monster thing. Feel free to completely ignore that. There has to be nothing with that. Anyways.
I do agree though that it's in a way that it's very different. Star Trek is very different that obviously than Fast and the Furious, because any idea you come up with for Star Trek is going to be scrutinized
Yes.
incredibly finely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and you have canon to worry about. Well, not so much in the relaunch, but
but there are, I mean,
You got canon to worry about.
there's certainly
Absolutely.
there's
'Cause
definitely
Enterprises
canon.
don't play.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And they do reference Enterprise with the
Well, that last ship in
yeah, which
Beyond was a an X class.
yeah, it was.
I mean, I'm sure there are people that are like, this isn't canon for the Fast and the Furious series, but probably not as intensely.
Well, I mean, the Fast and the Furious series, they went to space.
You know, they missed an opportunity to do a crossover.
This is
Star
what I'm
Trek
saying.
crossover.
I mean, Star Trek has time traveled before. Can you imagine that? Vin Diesel on the Enterprise.
Yes.
And
And
it's,
then
like,
he's like,
it's called The Search for Paul Walker.
You
and
got
he's
it.
like,
Oh, I love it.
we need to go to Warp Nos. And then they put the Nos
It's
in the
a NOS class.
Yeah.
ship. It's a Nos.
They put warp engines on a car.
Yes.
There's a torpedo fight between two
You
super
guys
cars.
got a real nice family.
Don't forget, Kirk, it's about family.
It's always about family. Cook.
And then everybody's at is it Dom? Is his name Dom? Dominic?
Yeah.
Everyone's
Everyone's
at
house for a barbecue.
Yep, everyone's at Dom's house for a cookout.
Always. Always.
And Scotty's eating it all. Wait,
Even though they're like fugitives and everyone's trying to arrest them, but they're just chilling in a backyard, just having a good time.
I just say if you're listening to this show, Paramount, which you're not going to have Star Trek property for long,
So do it while you can.
do it while you can.
I mean, I think people would watch it.
Is Fast and the
A
Furious
mere universe.
Is Fast and Furious a Paramount property or
Let's find out. Fast and the Furious.
I don't know, but it should be now. I think it's Warner Brothers, isn't it? Or Universal. I think it's Universal.
It always makes me laugh that the first Fast and the Furious movie they were stealing like VCRs and DVD
Yeah.
players.
And now they're in space.
Universal.
Nailed it.
That's all right.
Nailed it.
It's like a DC Marvel crossover. It's Universal and Paramount.
Yep.
Paramount is clearly DC in this.
Well, who knows what Paramount's going to end up with if they continue down the selling path that it sounds like they're going to be on.
Yeah. Right.
You might have the crossover between them and
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. We're approaching minute 30. Is there something else you want to talk about?
Countdown.
I can wait till next week for the other
All right.
ones.
All right. Well, then let's do it, gentlemen. We're at minute 30 here,
No.
which means it's time to move on to Star Trek. And
Oh, fuck.
we're going to begin with the Last Outpost. The Enterprise is pursuing some Ferengi. They think the Ferengi have captured their ship in a beam, and the Ferengi think the Enterprise has captured them in a beam. Turns out it's something on the planet. So the Ferengi and the Enterprise beam down to the planet, and it turns out it's the Takan Empire. And Riker has a conversation with the Takan Empire, and the Takan Empire likes the Federation, doesn't like the Ferengi. But Riker's like, hey, be nice to the Ferengi. And the Takan guy's like, cool, I'm going back to sleep. The end.
Okay, I did appreciate the Chinese finger trap gag.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
I do not want to move on to the review until we
start with Nick continuing his trend.
Oh,
I appreciate this. This has been the best part of season 1 so far. Is how succinct your
that
summations
was like
are.
A 20-second
or your summaries are.
Summary. That really was easily. Yeah. So you're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
I also think it speaks to how bad these episodes are.
There's not much to talk about.
Nick's like, it took 15 seconds to review this, and we're like, yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I really covered the whole thing, right?
You know where I want to start with this? Okay. So the Next Generation and DS9 overlap, right?
Later, yeah.
In somewhat.
Yeah.
So they're very close. They're within what, years of each other?
I think they started in season 5, maybe season 6.
Okay.
DS9 did.
In the beginning of this episode, the Federation doesn't know anything about Ferengis.
Mm-hmm.
Just hearsay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was a very surprising little nugget there, because everybody seems pretty well versed in Ferengi.
Well, it seems like they got to know him in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but like extremely well.
Yeah.
To the point where they're like just looked down, like, because at this point they're kind of scared of the Ferengi. They don't really know anything about them.
And the Ferengi are kind of, I don't know about scared, but they're very defensive.
They're idiotic.
They are idiotic.
They're terrible.
That didn't change.
Yeah, they're
the idiotic part.
They're cartoonish in
Fair
this.
enough.
They're not cartoonish in DS9. Are they ridiculous? Yeah, but they're not cartoonish.
I agree.
Okay.
I think they're just, there's nothing redeemable about how they picture the Ferengis in this, which is crazy to think that they were supposed to be the big nemesis.
Yeah.
Like
This
that
is
was
who
the
you were
thing.
talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, this is who was supposed to take over from the Klingons in Star Trek.
And they were going to be
the Ferengi.
We're going to be a continued species throughout the whole thing, where they would have run-ins with the Ferengi and they'd be going toe-to-toe with the Federation.
Yes.
But like nothing they showed here makes you think they would have any chance against the Federation.
They seem like
their ships
buffoons.
seem legit.
Their ships.
Oh,
seem
yeah,
legit.
for sure.
Yeah.
But as
I was
far
like,
as
where was that in DS9?
Yeah.
they had to go away from that because
Why?
they're more comedic in DS9.
I understand, but during the Dominion War, they couldn't have used a couple of Ferengi ships.
Man, the Ferengi were trying to barter between the two sides.
You don't think they could have made profit? War. They couldn't have done any war profiteering, and that wouldn't have been right up the Ferengi alley.
I'm trying here.
You don't think Quark would have made hella profits on selling ships to the Federation?
The Marauders.
Those are badass ships.
Ferengi are not part of the Federation, though.
No, they are not.
So
but they could have sold.
Yeah, but
they'll do dealings with anybody.
I view the Ferengi like Switzerland. Like they're just neutral, man. They don't get involved.
No, they're involved when profit is there, and if there's a profit to be made, they absolutely will get involved. They'll muddy the waters.
There's profit in war
There's
if you stay
Switzerland.
neutral. You sell to both sides.
I don't think they're neutral. I just don't think they give a rat's ass.
Whatever is their advantage is what they want.
Yes, that's not new. That's certainly not neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
But I agree with you. They were just. This was like a rough draft of the Ferengi.
Yes, it was. They course correct very quickly with the Ferengi.
I appreciate that because they need a course correction because they suck.
I think they last half a season, maybe like this.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, they have a couple more episodes.
Yeah,
because they were in. I mean, they were in. Were they in the next episode too, or
they mentioned them earlier?
Yeah,
in the pilot, don't they mention them in the?
They
pilot?
mentioned the pilot, like that they're cannibals.
Yeah.
I will say I do appreciate that the makeup didn't really change all that much.
No, the makeup is still pretty solid there.
Yeah.
Like they did a good job on the makeup. Their weapons are lame. The whips.
Depends what you're into.
doesn't look like a whip. It looks like something else.
Hey,
Like, hey.
those weapons could not be lame if you're in the right situation.
I guess that's true.
Sup?
I like
Sup?
those weapons.
Sup?
I'm sure you do.
I'm
sure
just
They
you
saying.
look nice. They look nice to me. I don't know what you guys
Yeah,
are
I know.
complaining about.
Yeah. Gosh, you're such a dumb face.
But no, the makeup for Worf and the Klingons I thought was really good in DS9.
Yeah.
And I think it's even better in later
Well, it gets
seasons of
more detailed.
TNG. But like season 1 Worf looks not good.
Oh no, it doesn't look good at all.
No,
At all.
No, it looks a little.
Well, they were trying to do that budget because if you remember the movies, they still had very, very like good makeup. Even in Star Trek 1, I think they were in for a hot second, and they just didn't. I don't know if they had the budget to do it this every week on this show or figure out how to do it
cheaply, and
economically.
quickly. Yeah, exactly.
But I did it. I'm just trying to pull nuggets that I did appreciate.
Worf, son
I
of
do
Mo.
appreciate that although their outfits were pretty blah
Yes.
for Ferengi.
Yeah, they were.
I'm just used to the flamboyant Quark
Yes, and all his
and all his just
shenanigans.
And they were almost wearing like caveman style clothing,
Yeah.
right? Just like furs or whatever.
Well, then I mean, Ferengi's got to have some kind of military too, right? It's got to, right?
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
just this little. Maybe it's just a little branch.
Yeah, but they didn't really seem like military. I mean, they're like hopping around like monkeys.
See,
like,
that's what it is. I think they give the actors some free, or I don't know who directed this or who. It wasn't intimidating like they were supposed to be.
yeah, they were like jumping around behind
Yeah.
them.
Well, all
going
the-
like this the whole time.
All the
Yeah.
mannerisms.
Yeah,
it was just too much.
It was too much. That's
They had a very flying monkey vibe
Yes.
from the Wizard of
yes,
Oz.
Yes, that's
yes.
a great point, and I just don't. It wasn't intimidating like it was supposed to be,
It was not. No,
and I don't even think it was 80s intimidating.
You don't
No,
think-
80s
But I will say, you know what? Let me change one thing. When he was on the view screen
Yes.
at the beginning of the episode, I was kind of like, all right, I could see how they were trying to make this an adversary. But as soon as they hit that planet, I'm like, ooh, bro.
Yeah, the close-up shot
The
of
close-up
the
shot.
Klingon. Yeah,
And he seemed logical or purposeful.
yeah.
But when they got to the planet, that's when I went, oh, guys.
They went dumb.
Yeah.
They went full dumb at that
Full
point.
dumb face.
Full dumb
Yeah,
face.
that's just they came up there. They were weak and just unintimidating when they got to the planet.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But I do appreciate the Chinese finger trap. I thought that was fun,
That was pretty funny. I mean,
especially Data not being able to figure it out. That's the best part.
yes, that was pretty good. And him getting stuck on it and like trying to describe something and getting distracted while he was describing it because he's stuck in the like his panic on his face as he's realizing he's stuck. That was, and then you have Riker in the back, like with a smirk on his face.
He's got a good smirk.
He does have a good smirk.
does.
Yeah,
He really does.
Yeah, he does. And then just his just Riker constantly kind of poking at Data or like being like, can we send a whole box of these over to the Ferengi? That's pretty awesome, actually.
Well, it's nice that they have the one character so far that brings that little bit of levity
Yes.
to these early episodes.
Yeah, because no one else does.
No.
Everyone else is serious
Yeah.
all the time.
I mean, I
What
think
about Troy?
She's serious.
she's serious.
too.
She's melodramatic.
Yes,
She
she is.
stinks.
She does stink.
She's awful so far.
She is awful so far.
Pointless.
She is.
Well, there's her. You know what? Rob was
What were you-
gesturing.
what were you gonna say?
Okay, we were gesturing to some physical attributes that she certainly brings to the show.
She's got very big hair. I noticed.
Yes.
That. Yes.
80s hair.
It's rizzed up.
80s hair.
But I think it looks better now than it did in some of the later seasons.
I disagree.
She's very.
I like her with straight hair.
They
Later on.
paled up her face too. She's very pale in the face.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's makeup too. I think
Yeah, I
that's
don't
on
like
purpose.
I feel like isn't Martina? Isn't she Middle Eastern or
You have the computer in front of you. Just FYI.
Marina
Sirtis.
Sirtis.
Martina.
I thought she was Middle
Thinking
Eastern.
Martina McBride?
Yeah.
No. Oh, she's British, but that doesn't mean she's not Middle Eastern as well. Daughter of Greek parents. Okay, Greek parents. Despina and John. Okay, so she's Greek. So I was going to say, they take away her, they take away that look
Feature.
to her and
that,
make
that
her
olive tone to her skin.
exactly. They make her look like she's just pure white, right?
But if you look at her other parts, cleavage, it's not as pale.
No, they you would tell like when you're watching it, you can tell.
But she's also not like dark olive. It's just like a.
You'll see it better in the later seasons. They don't make her up so much.
Mm.
As for the character,
Nick's looking at pictures. You can tell from that.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, not yet.
I mean,
Not yet.
she does serve some small purposes. Like Picard uses her in like as like a lifeline almost.
Well, yeah, and she's
When he doesn't have any answers, he'll go to her for what she's.
Yeah, her empath ability is useful.
But she's more or less just there for most of it. She doesn't really have a lot of
They haven't found her purpose.
input. Yeah.
Well, let's face it. A counselor on the bridge of a starship or a battleship or whatever
I don't think
ship you want to use is a little unique.
Well, I mean, I get it in the sense of she can feel emotions and feelings and stuff like
Which
that.
is used in the next week's episodes.
So that could
Yeah.
come. I could see how that coming in handy on a bridge.
Absolutely.
And that's what I was talking about. Like those next week's episodes, she was used, I thought, pretty well.
Yeah. Better.
Better. That's
Yeah.
a good word. But do we need her to be part of the main cast, though? I don't think she's having a counselor would be like.
Well, it's very progressive for the time. And if you look at kind of society now, counselors are used all the time for different things. And we all see, well, not all of us, but a lot of us see counselors. And so it's ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's not really treating anybody. She's more or
you'll-
less just reading their emotions.
You'll see later in the show, she does treat people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna use her like that, I'm way more on board. If they're gonna use her as more like a mental health crusher, Dr. Crusher. Okay.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's more or less they're like, just what are you sensing from
Over
them?
there. Yep. You're right.
They
But
use
you'll
it-
see it later that
Yeah.
she's more of a psychologist.
Okay. Which I hope they find her true like ways that she fits in here, and
Yeah, I don't think it's in the first season, so we got a while.
they haven't found much in the first season.
Yeah.
I'll tell
That's
you that.
true. That's
So-
true.
Nick, you would know this better than Joe just because you haven't been
I'm a
through the whole
dumb
Star
face.
Trek Junior
Yep.
journey. And this episode, obviously, sounds affected the Ferengi.
Mm-hmm.
But then later in TNG, they say that their hearing's not enhanced because of the ears, but then in DS9, they went back to their hearing being enhanced.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I remember that
I do
correctly.
recall that. Yes, I do recall that.
I just want to make sure I was thinking that correctly because when the thunder was going off on the planet, I'm like, see, this episode's kind of like a roller coaster. I thought there were parts that were good, and then there were parts that were terrible. And it just, like, I enjoyed the part where they're communicating with the Ferengi on bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That zoom up face, the intimidating. I'm like, wow, this is different from the Ferengi I remember and we all know.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are parts you're just like, oh, come on, guys.
So did you know though? So a couple things back to the Ferengi. Did you know Armin Shimmerman? This is technically actually his second appearance in Star Trek
Yes, I do know that.
because he acted in an episode called Haven before, but they didn't air it till after.
Production wise, I
Production.
did read
Yes.
that in the production.
Production
notes.
wise, production.
Oh, you read the production notes.
Yeah.
I didn't read them this week.
Wait, what? Oh, I did like you were talking about pieces of this episode that you did like.
Mhm.
I did like the build up to the reveal of the Ferengi.
Yes.
I
Making
thought
them-
that was done pretty well.
Made them super intimidating, scary, like we're not showing on the view screen.
Mhm. I mean, the
Yes.
ship was intimidating. It was a nice looking ship. It looked powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It did.
They sounded intimidating.
Exactly. And even when he appeared on the screen, he looked intimidating.
Yeah, there
and
was
then
an-
he's immediately like, ooh, humans are ugly. Like that was pretty
Well, burn.
yeah.
Got him.
Sick
Got
burn.
him. Sick burn.
Humans are ugly. Yes.
Y'all nasty.
Y'all
You clothe your
na-
females. What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah. What do you
Well, I mean, they do have a point.
you work with your females, arm them and force them to wear clothing is the quote, which is a good quote.
Females.
Females. Hello, human. They don't really do the human, but they kind of do.
They did.
A
They
little
kind of
bit,
did. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It's a little delayed.
I
But
mean, they don't exaggerate it as much as Quark or
The later seasons do.
The other like the Ferengi and DS9 do.
Yeah.
They do humans.
Humans. Oh, the quote that he makes when he goes on the fuse screen the first time. Yes, the ugliness of the human was not an exaggeration. What a thing to say as the very first thing you say to someone.
Be like, damn, I was nasty.
I was like, got him.
Got him good.
It would have been funny if there was just a gif of the Friday where they're like, damn.
Oh, snap.
I can make it. I can do it.
Do it, please.
Oh, possible. So there's some other things in this episode. We got the Takan Empire. Does the Takan Empire appear again in Next Generation?
I don't believe so.
So they use it in a video game that they just came out with.
Yes.
Quite a bit, actually, and it's really well done. So I thought that was kind of a fascinating idea. They didn't really do anything with it.
No, it wasn't. It was underestablished, but you're right. It was interesting.
And
go ahead.
The guy was pretty cool. Like when he's like, "So Riker, talk to me about what was it?" He was like, "I want to know more about this," or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Start just chilling with him. Hey man, let's talk. You want to get a beer?
Like he's like bros with Riker all of a sudden, and he's like, "Hey, since we're bros, do you want me to kill these Ferengi for you?"
Yeah.
Nah, they
No, we gotta be cool and chill, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Did they do a lot of this in the first season or two, where they try something and if it doesn't stick, they immediately abandon it?
I wouldn't use the word immediately.
Like the Empire, the Ferengi as the nemesis, like they just try things, and if it doesn't feel right, they just abandoned it.
I wouldn't use the word immediately because they're already way ahead of their production.
Right.
But there is course correction at some point, especially with like the Ferengi, as you can see.
Yeah.
So as I'm watching these episodes, right, and today we're recording 2 episodes, so we watched 4 episodes this week. And what I've noticed through each of these episodes is when they get out of the situation, it's not because of anything they really do. It's kind of just, it happens. They get lucky, right? So in some sense, to me, it's almost like portrays the idea of what traveling in space is like. There's a lot of luck and there's a lot of chance involved, and that's what happens with them. It's not their skill that gets them out of situations. Sometimes it's just luck. And so I kind of appreciated that. Like, they're not the heroes at the end of every episode. They don't always succeed. In fact, most of the time things go wrong and they end up worse off. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we all agreed that we liked about DS9, where at the end of every episode, it wasn't just a neat little tie, everything tied into a bow, and we're done with the episode and scene.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't always end clean.
And while hasn't, aside from part 1 and part 2 of the pilot, there hasn't been an episode that carries over into the next.
Oh, there won't be.
And while I'm still getting used to that, it is something that I don't like so far.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that they're not all wrapped up neatly at the end of the episode.
Right.
As we'll see I think it's next week when we review Justice. I think that wrapped up. It wrapped up. There was some sort of resolution, but I don't think it was as neatly wrapped up as it could have been.
You're right. As later seasons of the show, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so to Nick's point, I do appreciate that there is a bit of open-endedness or luck or just happenstance that they're able to make it out, and they're just like, whew, all right, well,
yeah.
What are we off to next? We're going to, this next planet.
Yeah. Yeah, because like this episode, their whole goal was to get the energy converter from the Ferengi.
They got it.
They got it, but it didn't really end in peaceful terms, right? Like They got it because the Ferengi were like, well, you could have blown us up and you didn't. Like that's why they got it back. And then I guess on the nice side, they ended up trading them and gave them some finger traps. So I guess
that's nice.
I guess there's that. But
good move by Riker, by the way.
Yeah, what a way to poke the bear, right? Yeah, poke the Ferengi.
The finger traps, are they called finger bangers?
Are they?
Yeah.
They should be They should be branded.
Can you rebrand those? Because I mean, I've never really heard that term. It sounds like that'd be a banging good time.
Did they call it finger bangers?
No.
Did they call them Chinese finger traps?
I probably not anymore.
Or did they? In
Nick
that
with
episode,
that 80s language from,
No,
from
no,
D.
no,
I know.
No,
Oh.
I know that's what it used to be called, right?
Yeah.
But did they call him that in this episode?
I think in the earlier on, I think Riker might have referenced that.
Yeah, I thought he did.
Yeah. Man, the 80s were wild.
I know.
But yeah, I
Yes.
say we approve.
Chinese finger puzzles is what they called them.
Keeping up with Credensius has to stamp this. Let's call them finger bangers from now on.
I mean, it's better than the like.
Chinese finger trap?
Yeah,
Finger bangers. Because, I mean, you have to bang your fingers together to get out of it.
man, the Chinese
But doesn't that spoil it?
No.
It spoils.
I don't think when you finger bang, it spoils anything.
no.
You're both dumb faces.
I'm just saying. I mean, it sounds like a banging good time. Look at you got your tagline right there for it.
Banging good time.
I like it.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, can we Joe, I need you to do something.
No.
Best with 2 fingers,
I need you to
right? Because you need one. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
You gotta
Because
put one in the one hole and one in the other hole.
Because really, what's one finger going to
Yeah.
do? I mean,
No.
really.
Well, yeah, because then it's just flopping around
Yeah.
in there.
Right.
You
need
don't- you
you
can't-
need 2 fingers
you
to
gotta-
make it work.
Okay.
To really
To be useful.
to be well for a more effective time.
For
Yes.
more effective banging of the fingers.
Hey, Joe, can you get this week, look up and see if we can brand some of those?
Keeping up with the Cardassian
Finger bangers.
Okay.
All right.
This is wrong. Can we move on to where no one has gone before?
Can I just say
I'm
that?
focused on finger banging right now.
Where no one has gone before.
Can I just
Joe-
hold on? Can I just say that in the 80s and 90s, the Chinese caught strays, like Chinese fire traps, Chinese fire drills.
Chinese fire drills, yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they're all fun. But
There's nothing more fun than finger banging. Well, there is, but I'm just saying. It's fun.
I mean,
It is fun, especially when you don't know how to get out. Like when you get stuck in there and you're like, you got to go deeper
Yeah.
to get out.
You got to go in and out. Yeah.
No, you don't got to go in and out. You got to go as far in as you can.
Well, yeah, you got to dig in.
You got to push all the way in.
Absolutely.
Only then will it release.
Yeah.
And then let
Joe, seriously, I need you to do this.
let your finger out. The last
you need me to do what?
We will give out during Comic-Con.
where no one has
We
gone
just finger banged you.
where no one has gone before.
Hey,
For good reason.
can someone get this cut so we can put it on the internet?
Okay.
Where no one has gone before.
Finger banging.
Oh, the episode.
Oh, sorry.
So the Enterprise brings on an engineer and his assistant because apparently they have this new engine technology that will make them go super fast, even though it looks like gibberish. The assistant sits down at the machine, the engineer sits down at the machine, and they put in the stuff, and it makes them travel really far away. But Wesley's sitting next to the one assistant, and the assistant is phasing in and out of time or whatever. Turns out they've gone 1,000,000 light years. And then they go to the engineer, can you make us travel back? And he says, sure. And then they go 2 billion light years. And then after that, it turns out the engineer doesn't really know what he's doing. It's the assistant the whole time because he's an alien from another planet, and he's like just wants to be there. And he gets them back to where they need to be. And the alien talks to Picard and says, take care of Wesley. He's super smart. He needs to be loved.
He's special.
He's special.
Are you done? Were you done?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I want to piggyback on that. So the Travelers, sorry, is still getting over this stupid cold.
COVID.
Saying that he's special, right?
COVID. It's like a Kobe.
But anybody else get Epstein vibes when he first looked at Wesley?
Yeah, it was a little shady. Like he looks at and he just
and he just smiles, and I'm like, man, this guy Wesley's going to the Epstein Island.
And then he looks at him and he's like, kid, do you want a finger bang?
Yeah, and gives him one of the.
And he gives him the
toy,
he gives him the toy.
I think next week we'll get more Epstein Island vibes
Okay.
with Justice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, those people were into it.
Eden or Ryza? Go.
Oh,
We'll talk next week.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's next week's conversation.
We'll
What are
talk.
you doing?
Okay. All right. So
This episode stunk.
yeah. Again, there was no point to
No.
it. Nothing. This is another episode where they get lucky, right? Like, oh no, this guy took us really far here. Oh no, he took us really far there. And we're back. The end of episode. That's literally all that happens.
Yeah. This one left me with like, this was a head scratcher. Like, what was the point of this episode?
To
So
tell us how smart Wesley is.
And that's,
pretty much.
Another one where he plays a key role. All these people who've worked for Starfleet for decades can't figure things out, and here comes Wesley.
Oh, this is how it works. They're all connected. And then the one alien's like, don't tell anyone you know that. They're not ready for it.
What are they, Marty McFly at the dance?
Yeah, they're not going to pay
Your
attention.
kids are going to love it. He was like one line short of Marty McFly after playing Johnny Be Good.
Yeah. It's your cousin, Marvin Berry.
But, I just don't. So, for someone who Picard doesn't want on his bridge or anywhere ever, Wesley sure turns up everywhere, doesn't he?
Well, I do appreciate the Traveler, them kind of making that course correction with the Traveler, saying, hey, you got to get this kid involved in things.
And that's why he finally makes him an acting ensign.
Yeah, that's why at least him being involved going forward is more logical, because this super being from another dimension said, this kid's special.
All right.
He's going to he's going to Traveler Island.
Yeah, he is. So what is so weird about this episode is why the heck it feels like sometimes they just threw ideas in here, right? Like they go to the one universe that's 2.7 million light years away, then they go to the other one, which is the opposite direction, and it's a place where your thoughts become reality. Why was that needed?
It was neat. See, unexplored space, right?
Yeah.
I think it was just trying to say that that's how far out in the reaches of the universe they would be, where time, mind, and concept all merge.
Okay.
Far out, man.
I think you go to a different galaxy. Maybe that's what they were trying to portray. Do I like it or not? I don't know.
I don't think they did a good, again, like this is a whole episode focus, not let's throw this in here as a C plot with 15 minutes in the episode left. That's what makes it weird. It's shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't need to be.
Yeah, if this kind of fit in almost the entirety of the episode, and this is why they need to get out of there, that's one thing, right? But it wasn't anything like that. Weird. And Kosinski, there is no way he gets this far being that much of... You cannot talk to your superior officers that way, no matter how smart you are.
No.
Yeah, there's no way this guy... And he's not wearing a comm badge. Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
Why?
I have a theory as to why. And my theory as to why...
Section 31?
So you remember in the original series, every ship had its own insignia.
Okay, so that's... Yeah.
But in the movies, it went to everybody wore the crest of the Enterprise. Yeah. I think they were trying to figure out, well, what are we doing with this series?
Yeah. Okay.
That's my theory. I have seen nothing that supports that theory.
Okay.
But that's my theory.
I think he works for Section 31.
Ooh. Nice.
That's my conspiracy theory.
I will say overall, this episode was not great, but I do appreciate one thing out of the episode, which it ended. It's nice to see that there's that awe and wonder out there again, where they're out there and they're like, I'd love to take time to explore this, but we're a long way from home.
So we got to get back. Well, my thing is like, why do they have to rush to get back, knowing that they could easily get back? Like,
well, they didn't know they could easily get back.
Well, the guy said, "Yeah, I just got to do the opposite of what I did."
I don't think anybody believed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think he knew what he did though.
No, he didn't know what he did.
No. Well, he didn't know what he did. It was all gibberish.
So how the hell if he didn't know what he did, how the hell are they going to get back?
Yeah.
How can you do the opposite of something you don't know what you just did?
I'm just saying.
Because his face the whole time was like, what just happened?
I love the arrogance of this guy to walk in there and be like, I have no clue what I did, but look how good I did at it.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it turns out I rerouted this and this, an accident, and just, God, I'm great.
I'm just so amazing.
Yeah.
Like
he's like, look how far we traveled.
It's like
we have no idea where or what we are right now.
But do you see where you aren't?
It's
close to home.
Yeah, but 2.7 million light years. Hello.
It's like me after we record the show. We're like, you guys are welcome for me bringing this all together and keeping you on track and just my overall presence on the show.
That's how I feel after every episode where I take off the headphones and I'm like, Okay, what did I just say? Like, what just happened? Where are we?
Well,
Blanked out for
Yeah.
a while. Yeah.
are we
don't-
getting canceled anytime soon?
Oh, absolutely. The finger
yeah.
banging thing.
No, we're rebranding
Dude,
it.
we're actually trying not to be offensive, Nick.
Yeah, Rob and I,
I know you're
we're-
relabeling a toy that had a racist connotation.
Yeah,
in the
that's
past.
that's
Rob
wrong.
and I are doing society a service.
That's a
That's
good
wrong.
point.
And really, in order to get out of the thing, I don't know what the problem is. We're giving them a hint that you have to kind of bang in
yeah.
on
with
the
both fingers,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then kind of pin. Now you don't want to pinch too
Here's
hard.
my question though: like
No,
when you're banging
Because you'll
those,
break it.
Yeah, you don't want to.
when you're
you gotta be
banging
more
those
gentle
fingers,
than that.
do you want to go? Does the speed matter? Like, should I go slower as I go deeper in?
I think it might depend on the individual thing because some of them might respond better to that than others.
Yeah, and depending
Because
on how much they've been used, they could be they could be looser or tighter.
Well, that's the thing. If
That's true. Like if I got one after Nick, it probably has all kinds of room in there from being used so
it'll
much.
still be very taut.
Yeah.
you can
well, and
still,
I feel like if I bang my fingers together really fast, it's going to cause some ripping, and I don't want to rip it either.
No, I think they're pretty durable.
I don't know. I feel like you could cause some damage if you bang your fingers
Man,
hard enough.
I'm pretty sure those things they're manufactured really, really well and can take
Yeah.
just about anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, if you could, your fingers kind of big when you're going in there, and if you can just pull it out, I mean, I think they're pretty durable.
Well, that's what's so crazy about it is when you initially get your finger in there, like the hole feels really big, but then as you're trying to come back out again, ooh, it like clamps on.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't want you to
difficult
go.
part. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
but then you put it back in, and then it loosens up again. And it's so very confusing.
Are there any other racist toys we could rebrand?
Let's think. We'll do that on Patreon one day.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians rebrands racist toys. Toy Time with Joe.
There you go.
Next week we're gonna have some finger bangers
Yep.
on here.
I'm bringing back Toy Time with Joe.
Everybody, it's time to go.
That's great. Warp 10.
Okay, so last out or what are we in? Where no one has gone before.
Oh, the guy that played the Traveler was runner up to play Data, I guess.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I could see how he was.
The alien?
I could see how he was. Not a bad actor.
Not
There's
bad.
no Brent
you
Spiner.
could see how there's a little bit of data in him.
Yeah. Also, I appreciate how he's dying there on the table, and the doctor's trying to be like, "No, let's not wake him up." And Picard's like, "I don't care, kill him, wake him up." I mean, I get it because
They were several million light years from home. You got to do
Yeah.
what you got to do.
Yeah, I know, but like that also doesn't fit Picard
They
because
should have just given him a finger
couple
banger.
episodes later, he's willing to let Wesley die for the Prime Directive. So
Have you met
there's-
No,
Leslie?
he wasn't. We'll get into it, but he was
Yeah.
not willing
he
to.
kind of was.
We're teasing next week's episode, guys. Good work.
He kind of was.
He was not.
No, he wasn't. I agree with you, Joe. We'll fight about
He
it.
actually.
Shut your cake hole because we got another episode to record.
So, I mean, so here's my question: what is the point of this episode? If you walked away from this episode and said, "Here's something you need to take out of this episode," what are you taking out of this episode?
Wesley's.
Wesley's superior to everybody.
Yeah.
The Traveler wants to start an Epstein planet.
Or there's a whole lot of places they've never gone before.
I think it was to kind of expand your mind of what
Spaces,
could be.
And what's
yeah.
out there? What potential?
because this guy is some like multidimensional being, and then what's out there in space? Is it
Yeah.
is it
Mhm.
can it warp your mind? What is out there? I think that was. I don't know if there was a purpose per se, but
Mhm.
that it was just saying, look at all this.
Yeah, there was nothing that this episode did that the right drugs couldn't also do.
Yeah, it's just science fiction.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think we really get into what's this episode say till later in the series.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think this episode says anything.
I don't think it does either.
They exceeded warp 10 though.
You know what they told me? I just wasted 43
They didn't
minutes.
turn in the salamanders.
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah, why didn't they turn in the salamanders and mate?
Thanks, Voyager. You screwed up another thing.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was dumb, but it wasn't like.
Yeah.
eh.
Anyway,
Anyways, let's rate these.
Is my mic working properly?
Yeah.
we
You
can
guys
hear you.
hear me?
Is it still your headphones?
Yeah, that's fine.
We need new headphones
All
for
good.
you.
All good.
We need to get you new headphones.
No,
We could check
just-
the connections later too.
No,
That's not
we
the
need to-
Off air, guys.
No, we need to spend our money on finger bangers,
Oh, that's right. That's true.
branded.
Hey,
finger
guys, if you
bangers.
want to sign up for our Patreon and help us get finger bangers, patreon.com, keeping up with the Kardashians. You can also
We can put our logo on there so they can bang our logo.
Yeah, they're always when they're finger banging, they can always think of us.
Yeah, bang that logo.
Yeah,
Which I hope they would.
I really hope they
How
would.
many times do you think we've said finger bang on this episode?
I don't know.
Probably
I challenge
close to
everybody to go
30.
back and listen to this and then do a shot game to it.
And here's my question.
No.
How many people misunderstood? How many people think we were talking about something else?
Why would they think we were talking about something
Perverts.
else?
Because they're dirty-minded.
What else would we be talking of?
The finger trap. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that you could possibly finger bang in this world.
We're pretty clear that we were talking about the toy.
You know what you
Yes.
could finger bang? A Morse code machine. You finger bang that.
You could probably get some good rhythm out of that.
Yeah. Here.
No, it doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah. No. Anyway, rate these episodes, Joe. Go ahead. Last Outpost.
Oh god.
What the? How do you? This this is the most difficult part of this show.
Yeah.
Is rating these episodes.
Well,
rating
yeah, because
season one.
if you go too low, there's probably been stinkers in the future, and
I
if you
know.
go too
And then-
high,
and then I got to go. So if I rate,
Do you want me to start?
Yes.
yes,
1.5.
for the Ferengi episode.
really,
Yes. It's bad.
it's better than the last bunch of episodes.
Not really. It still sucks.
It does suck.
And yeah, you're right there.
Rob.
3. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was gonna go 2.5, but that doesn't it doesn't leave room for underneath it, so I'm gonna go 3.
Oh, I think that's okay. I
Yeah.
think that's you can.
But guys, you're I might have to rate it higher because it did bring us our idea of keeping up with the Kardashians finger bangers.
No, that's what gives it a 1.5 to me. Because this is a 0.
It's instead of calling something a banger, we could call it finger banger from now on. That's like our rating system.
Because here's my thing. Here's the way I'm looking at these episodes. None of these I want to rewatch ever again.
This episode's a finger banger.
God no.
I don't want to rewatch a single episode of Next Generation so far.
You know what makes a bad Star Trek episode is when you're in the writer's room and they're like, this episode is missing something. What is this episode missing?
Yeah.
And someone's from the back. Chinese finger trap. And it's like, yeah, that
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Add
What
it.
did you say?
Add it.
What
Put
did
it
you
in
say?
there. Put it in there. Where no one has gone before.
2. This episode stunk and was pointless. 2.
1.5.
I'm gonna go with Joe 2.
I see a theme, Nick.
Gentlemen, we're off to a banging start.
We're off to a finger banging start.
So far, season averages are.
You always want to start with finger banging, don't you?
Nick, I've given it 2.3 so far. Rob 2.7. Joe 2.5.
Well, I'm the highest. That's the rare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're giving a lot of. You're giving. You know
I
what
think
it
you
does.
You must have loved
I love the finger bangers.
the pilot.
No, me and him gave the pilot the same rating, a 4.
Yeah.
You gave it a 3.5, but he gave the next episode a 3.5. But he gave Code of Honor a 1. It's the 3 on the Last Outpost, really, and So
I liked some things that Last Outpost did.
I like that. For me, Last Outpost, Armin.
Shout out Armin.
Hammer.
Oh, did we get text we want to read?
Yeah, we did get a couple texts.
Did we? Yeah, we rated both episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did get a couple texts. Actually, we heard from Samira, and she she basically said Nick was right, even though it pains her to admit it. I did send a Patreon message.
Anytime we have to admit Nick is right, it kills all of us.
It's,
Yeah.
it's really bad for the
Yep,
show.
yep.
Yeah.
Bad for
So
branding.
I appreciate that, Samira. I appreciate
We
it
don't.
more than you will ever know.
Go down with the ship.
Yeah, don't ever admit that again.
We got Annette sending 9,000 text messages. I appreciate Annette. First one, and I'm quoting her, "Fuck the Cowboys." I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm just quoting her. And then the next quote is abomination. I'm not sure why. Oh, I think because she's watching in real time.
Yes.
Or listening in real time. And you were talking about my Tesla jacket because their next one is Nick should put matching duct tape over that horrific logo.
Is that just part of your permanent wardrobe now? Are you bound? Are you legally bound?
So
to wear
Have you defected from Duluth to Tesla?
So
gear?
here's the thing. Yesterday, we went out to dinner with some people. We dropped Eli off somewhere, and we met them for dinner. And I have like a Tesla hoodie now too.
Jesus Christ!
So I had this jacket on, and I took it off. And the guy was sitting there. He's like, "So do you like work for them now?" I'm like, "No, I got a bunch of free clothes. Like, what am I supposed to do?"
This is Nick and Tessa.
Oh God!
I want a Tesla branded finger banger.
Jesus.
And then Annette says, "Hey guys, I'm catching up. I forgot how melodramatic everybody is in the first season. It's almost painful to watch. I'm so sorry, Joe, but I promise you'll be crying in the end, and then you'll be uplifted by watching Firefly."
Well, here's the thing. I'm crying after every episode.
Yeah, you are.
So far.
Yeah, we're still sad.
It's more tears of like, what have I? It's tears of realizing that I've just used 45 minutes of my life that I will never get back.
Amen, brother.
To watch.
Amen. That is such an amen. I totally agree. Yep. I'm right there with you. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's get out of here because I need to go take a shower after watching those episodes, and
I need to take a shower as well. Cold shower.
You can follow us on Patreon, where we'd love to have you as a $2 and a $5.
Showers.
We have $2 and $5 tiers.
You can watch Joe take a cold
We'd love
shower
to have you
on Patreon.
But also know this. We're on Twitter, which is known as
Here we
X. Cardassians Pod. Follow us there. But you can also follow us on Instagram at keeping_up_Cardassians.
And YouTube.
And YouTube as
We're
well.
there too.
YouTube views.
You can see our beautiful faces.
We do. We're there.
Or my dumb face.
It's a beautiful face, Joe. Did you not hear what I just said?
Nick said I'm a dumb face.
Nick says a lot of things.
Yeah.
This is true.
But we love you all. Thanks for keeping up with us. Bye.
Bye.